We are moving into Lesson 5, Simplify Algebraic Expressions. I am on page 387 in your binder. So we have our real-world link to start out with, and it's at a music store. Patricia, Hugo, and Son work at a music store. Each week, Patricia works 3 more than twice the number of hours that Hugo works. Son works 2 less hours than Hugo. Let X represent the number of hours that Hugo works each week. The number of hours that Hugo, Patricia, and Son work can be modeled as shown below. Write an expression that represents each person's numbers of hours. So it says X is the amount of hours that Hugo works. So we're going to have an H for Hugo. Patricia's was twice Hugo. So twice Hugo. Remember, X is Hugo. Plus 3 more. And then Son's was Hugo minus 2. Model the total number of hours that Patricia and Son work. Draw the result below. So remember, we had Patricia at 2x plus 3. And if we're going to add that to find the total with Son was x minus 2. So to draw that, you would have an x, 1, 1, 1. That's for Patricia. And then we'd have an x, and then we have a negative 2. So a negative 1 and a negative 1 there. So like tiles or tiles that have the same shape, group like tiles together and remove the 0 pairs. So you can look up here and say, okay, well, positive 1 and a negative 1 cross out. A positive 1 and a negative 1 cross out. So you are left with 3 x's and 1, 1. So you'd have 3x plus 1. So you can always draw those algebra tiles if that helps you when you're working with your expressions. Okay, we're going to move on to 388. And you have some vocab here. So a term is each piece. So in this example, you have 3 terms. They are separated by your addition or subtraction signs. Okay. Like terms are the ones that you can combine. So in this example, your like terms are the x and the negative 4x because they both have x's. And then another vocab word is your constant. Your constant is the number that doesn't change. So that's your 12. 12 is 12. It's not going to change. Constants can also be like terms if you'd have more than one. All right, so in the first examples here, you are just identifying what each one are. Now, I always like to change first. If I have any subtraction, I'm going to turn those to an addition sign, next number to its opposite. That just helps me know which ones are positives and which ones are negatives. So when we write these out, you have the correct symbols. All right, so the first one was terms, and you have 4 of them. Your terms are 9y, negative 4, negative 11y, and 7. Okay, your like terms are the ones you can combine. So we can combine 9y and negative 11y. You can also combine negative 4 and 7. They're like terms too because they're your constants that you can combine. Coefficients, remember from last lesson, coefficients are the numbers attached to your variables. So you've got a 9 and a negative 11. And constants. Those are your numbers that stand by themselves. We had a negative 4 and a 7. Okay, so when it says identify, you have to list all of those out. Now we can simplify these. We can combine our like terms. So let's look at the bottom there, letter C. Remember I said before, if you have a variable by itself, you can always put a 1 in front of it. So this one you have like 4 zebras minus 1 zebra, so that would give you 3 z's. All right, in this one, I'm going to change the subtraction to addition, next number to its opposite. You can combine the ends. Now notice they're opposite, so they actually cancel each other out, and you're left with just 6. So if you want to put a line through those just to show that they do cross out. All right, and letter E here. Again, I'm going to change plus -3 plus -8g. We can combine the g's. So 2g's plus -8g's gives us -6g's. And then we can combine the constants, which is -3 and 11. -3 plus a +11 gives us a +8. So there's your final answer. Okay, and then word problems. In this example here, the cost of a jacket, they're using J for jacket, after a 5% markup can be represented by the expression J plus 0.05J. The 0.05 is your 5%. Simplify the expression. Okay, so simplify, you notice you have 2 J's in there. One has is by itself, but again, remember you can always put a 1 in front of it, and then you can add that to the 0.05J. So when you add those together, you get 1.05J. And then they're asking you if the original price is $35 of the coat, what is the total cost after the markup? So you would do 1.05 times 35, and the cost would be $36.75. And example number 5. At a concert, you buy some t-shirts for $12 each and the same number of CDs for $7.50 each. Write an expression in simplest form that represents the total amount spent. So t-shirts, 12 times X, number of CDs, $7.50 times X. You can combine them because they both have X's, so $19.50 X.